Hello and welcome back to the Oceanic Challenger Series, OPL El Clasico, OCS El Clasico, I'm so sorry. Kicked us off with a pretty one-sided affair, but coming into game number 2, I am Bryce, this is Max, welcome back. And yeah, what are you thinking heading into the second game?
I said at the start, I'm going to try my best to be unbiased coming into this one. I'm going to try my very, very best, and I'm a little bit nervous because the Bombers appear to be back, or at least Bombers Academy appear to be back at full strength. So.
Yes, that is the thing. We kind of like hit on it a little bit at the start of the show, but like we'll take a look at the roster, right? Literally four changes, like 80%, I think. Yeah, 80% of your team. Switch that up. So Seb, OPL experience, coming back into the jungle, known as Frank Gallen in solo queue. Had a cheeky game with him the other day. I think we lost. Luch is a big name in the Oceanic mid lane pool, and he's going to be rounding out the mid side of the roster, and then Zank going back to his original position, as with Gamble, who's played a bunch of the weird stuff. He played like Rumble mid when he was filling in, but now back in support. I expect this is probably going to be like a very strong Bombers lineup than what we've seen in the earlier weeks, right?
Yeah, and that's something I'm a little bit afraid of as someone from UQ Unit, especially like their team they started off so hot with that win over QUT, and now they came up short last week, and now they might have been thinking, all right, well, at least we have a weakened Bombers Academy squad to go up against, but that's not going to be the case this time, so it's a tough matchup for them. So I'm with you. I kind of feel like Bombers Academy is going to be favored going into this. I think they're going to, I don't want to say wipe the floor, but I think we could be seeing another one-sided game. Yeah,
potentially. Because like it was interesting. You mentioned like the Battle of the Queensland Unis, right? Like coming in like first week of the OCS, and I'm like, I honestly like don't know too much about these two teams, but UQ just like stomped that game. That's pretty one-sided. They came out, like showed themselves to be the better team, at least on that week, on that day. And is that like you obviously having experience with the Queenslander scene? Is that a common occurrence? No bias?
No, actually it hasn't been, because at the start, at the start of the year they had a bit of a show match actually at the uni itself for, I think it was like Geek Week or something, Geek Day at the uni, and they played a bit of a best of 3, and it was actually QUT who came out on top of that. So I was expecting a bit more of the same moving into it, but what I saw from that first week game was UQ improved their picks and bans quite significantly. QUT kind of doing more of the same. They actually, what we saw from week 2 out of QUT was a lot more similar to what we saw during the sort of show match before.
Yeah. Oh, we like the Shaco?
Not a Shaco, but something similar. I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away picks in case it comes back again.
It's in the past.
Oh, but what if it comes back?
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
What if it comes back? I don't know. I mean, it's all on YouTube, so people could look it up.
That's what I mean. Yes. Yeah, what is it? If it was out there in the public. Oh, the Rammus.
It was the Rammus. It was like a Karma. It was a roaming Karma Rammus squad that just you sort of just sped up that Rammus and just threw the death ball. Hi and goodbye was literally saying hi, bam, goodbye, and just
living up to his name.
Yeah, exactly. It was good fun.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think actually, like as a sport mate, my most favorite thing about Rammus in the game is buying Crucible and like self-casting Crucible as he knocks into and you buff it a taunt, because like Crucible has the travel time even if you cast it on yourself. So if like Rammus just comes zooming in and he taunts you and then you hit yourself with the self Crucible, that is genuinely. I don't play that much League of Legends compared to like when I was a pro player, scrimming like 6 hours a day, playing like 3 games of solo queue, like playing a ton. Now I don't play nearly that much, but being able to get like a self-Crucible playoff is like, that is peak League of Legends. That's a real good time.
As we are moving right now into picks and bans, Bombers Academy taking on UQ Union. What do you want to see banned in this one? Like, where do you think these teams are going to go?
I don't know. Interestingly, I kind of expect a Sejuani ban to be thrown against Union. Like, their jungler in the Candyman has had a very good Sejuani performance, then a very rough Karthus last game. Kind of got boomed by Gravitas jungler and why not? And, you know what I mean? Like, take him off Comfort, put him back on that style if you're Bombers Academy. That would make a lot of sense, but I expect it to be like a bunch of similar stuff. The Aurelia, the Rise, the Nautilus, all of this sort of like big meta flex picks that can go everywhere. They seem like the biggest kind of threats to a lot of these teams, and a standard ban list would make a lot of sense between these two.
That said, we're seeing a Cassiopeia come out there. I'm not sure how standard that one is.
Luch, big Cassio player, so probably targeted towards the mid lane. I'm kind of looking at the rest of the lineup. Like, Zank's probably not going to play Cassio on the bottom side, as not too sure about Shaw. So sorry about the pun, but yeah, Karthus. That is genuinely the opposite of what I expected going into this game.
That was my first thought as well. I mean, it must be something like they recognize Candyman does play it. Maybe he had an off day last week.
Yeah, it's one game of 1 week randomly that like was broadcast, right? That's kind of the danger of like one best of one. Yeah.
As we're seeing the Kennen take I like seeing that Kennen band away. I feel Kennen is super strong right now. Don't want to deal with some slicing maelstroms in the back line. Just take it away. And Silas band away as well.
Yeah, so interesting to see what UQ do go with the rest of the band. Is it a Rise? Is it a Nautilus? Is it any of these flexes as we mentioned? And no, it's going to be the Syndra, so pretty heavily targeting Luch. That makes sense. Riot is a big Aurelia player, hence the first Aurelia ban there from Bombers, so we're going to see him on a first-time champion, at least in the OCS 2019, and they're just banning away a bunch of Luch's kind of like tried and true mages in the mid lane. He was that guy. They removed the champs.
So, that said, that does leave the Morgana open to be prioritized. So the first pick, Morgana, going to the Bombers Academy. I'm not sure that really fits Luch's style, though. So will that be a support Morgana, do you reckon?
I mean, potentially. Like, I think it's picked right now, like, for the flex, right? Like, you first pick that champion because you can flex it, not necessarily because you want to put it mid. Luch can definitely play that champ. Like, Morgana, easy champion to play. He used to be the guy that was like, I just want to farm up an absolute storm. Morgana kind of makes sense. Like, you have a very easy time laning. You just play with the priority. You just get to clean up a bunch of CS and become a monster. So I can see him picking it up. And he's also a guy that in metas when Lulu mid wasn't necessarily meta, he was playing Lulu mid. Yep. Morgana mid, not that much different. It's kind of the 2019 version, so it makes a lot of sense.
As we've already gone through a few more picks as well, Union taking the Kai'Sa and the Zoe.
Yeah.
So, and now an Ezreal locked in for Bombers Academy, and a Corki.
Oh,
so that will be Luch most likely on the Corki. We've solved the mystery where the Morgana's going. It's going down to the bot lane. Corki probably in that mid.
And that's the thing, like looking at it, yes, the Morgana is for the flex. They just straight up blind pick Zoe. Luch gets a matchup he's no doubt very comfortable on. That was an insta-lock. And I feel like coming into it, like Bombers Academy, like players of, I will say, this caliber, and like Seb and Luch, right? They're coming into it. He's like the big dog in that team. And he just sees the matchup, and that was like an instant lock. Yep. He's just like, okay, it's like, like talking to everyone, like, what do we want to pick here, yada, yada. He's just like, I see Zoe, I lock Corki. And it's just like a straight up thing. So obviously very confident in this one, and Vladimir is going to be the answer.
Vladimir, I've seen so many Vladimirs lately.
He's just good.
He's so good. He's so good. He does little bits of everything. Like, he's hard to kill. He does insane damage. He has that sideline pressure. Just a strong overall pick. Jace being banned away as well for Union.
Yeah, looking to be sort of a red side ban more often than not here. Maybe just don't want to fall up against that one. But this is already fairly interesting as we see. Bombers kind of have a making of, like, they can play like a standard comp. If they look in a tank top lane and then they just have like two fairly well scaling like 80 carry champions, but they can also go for like a siege comp. Depending on what their jungler is in their top lane, they can kind of do different things, whereas Union on the other side have got a more well-rounded thing. They haven't got the supportive members. No jungler, no support is locked in, and as you see, it is going to be the support pool pinched here by the Bombers, but both of these teams kind of have a lot of options open to them.
It's kind of surprising to see that Kled banned away. So now they're definitely targeting Shore right now. After they've thrown all their Luch bans, they're going to shift that to the top lane. Don't want to give Shore that aggressive top laner.
Yeah. Kled's one of those champions where, like, you play it or you don't. Like, you're like a Kled player or you're not, and there's no in between. So obviously, Shore pretty happy with that one, and Nightfaller maybe not, so he just wants to get rid of it.
And Braum will be the last ban away. So going after Sans Braum. I was actually kind of expecting something like the Sejuani possibly to be taken out, so I'm a little bit surprised with that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Candyman take that Sejuani that we saw in week 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. They have no frontline right now and would make a lot of sense. The Braum ban is honestly interesting, given they've already locked in the Morg support. I feel like that's one of her better matchups, and maybe just kind of looking at Sand, looking at his champion pool, like just next on the rung, not necessarily banning for matchup, just banning for comfort on a stage game, right? But it isn't going to be the Sejuani, as you mentioned.
No, it will be the Jarvan instead. And I actually believe Jarvan was one of the champions who I saw Candyman play 2 out of the 3 games on during the show match that happened before. So he is familiar with the champion. Jarvan is obviously super strong jungler, one of those all-around. You can build him tanky. You can go assassin if you're feeling risky. Aatrox's still available as well. I can expect to see that locked in.
Yeah, but like speaking about the Jarvan, right? Like you look at the Bombers comp, and I'm like, you can play that standard, but you can play that like poke. You can play that disengage style. Jarvan makes so much sense. Like, you just have the go button. EQ into Cataclysm, you get online and you can just start a team fight. Because you look at the rest of it, there's like, you want the commit there from a Vladimir, but he can't be the first one in. He really has to be that second layer coming over the top. So, Candyman, comfortable champion in the Jarvan, but also makes a lot of sense given what they've locked in.
And I don't expect to see Teemo going. Nope, there's going to be that switch to the Rek'Sai, something a bit more conventional. I also wouldn't mind seeing a Hecarim here, but no, we're going to go Rek'Sai.
Said big Rek'Sai player. Seen him play it a lot recently in solo queue, so makes a lot of sense. And I feel like the most comfortable player in this game is like now Zheng. He's not playing Camille, he's not playing jungle, Rek'Sai or whatever. He finally gets to play on roll, gets himself an Ezreal. It's been a while since we've seen what he can do on the stage and on his role. So a lot of Zen moments, like comfort coming down.
And you know what goes better with a Jarvan than a Galio? Cataclysm, heroic entrance combo. We've been seeing it a lot in MSI. You've probably been seeing it a lot in solo queue as well. It is strong.
Also, like, the Kai'Sa-Galio matchup is also just very strong. A lot of people claiming that Kai'Sa is, like, too good. She needs to be tapped down a little bit, but Galio is one of those more annoying supports. If that wasn't an Ezreal and if it wasn't a Morgana, most AD carries, like, have to pay the cleanse tax. You look at a Galio, and it's like, if he just charges W, runs at you and flashes on your head, you die. So it's like, you have to take cleanse, then your support gets healed, and you don't have Ignite, you don't have Exhaust, but given they have the Black Shield for safety, Ezreal has his E button as well. He opts in for the TP, which is more standard, but yeah, certainly interesting across the board between these two teams. It is locked in past the 20-second mark, so no switcheroo.
I think Ezreal is probably going to be the only person safe, really, from the Flag and Drag heroic entrance just because of the Arcane Shift. Everyone else, I mean, Corki can rocket over it as well. Yeah. And Rek'Sai could probably tunnel over it, so maybe...
Aatrox can also dash. So
no, they're all fine. Everyone's fine. There are escapes available for the Bombers. But still, then you're using those to escape at the start of the team fight, and then you could get chased down. It leaves you vulnerable for follow-up damage, especially if Riot is able to hit those sleepy trouble bubbles onto that back line.
Yeah, certainly is the case. And as you mentioned, Riot, not too sure on the Zoe, is his first non-Aurelia game. So we'll see how he fares on the majors. Of course, behind the scenes, probably does have a fairly deep champion pool, but given what we've seen in OCS 2019, the competitive history, Aurelia is all he's been playing. First game was honestly incredibly good. Second game was getting picked on a lot more, but here up against Luch. Tall order ahead of him. The matchup fairly rough. Luch fairly comfortable on the Corki here, but see how they go in towards this game.
Could be a chance really to make a name for himself, which is really what this OCS is about. These players like trying to come out there and make a name for themselves, show what they have on sort of a larger stage than what could be previously provided to them, as we are seeing no level 1 shenanigans. Once again, both teams opting to sort of fan out, set up that line of scrimmage across the river. Not too unexpected.
I want to see Luch do the butt wiggle, but I don't think we're going to see Luch do the butt wiggle.
No, he seems very serious right now.
Oh, first game of the season, you know. Thank you, Mr. Observer, for stopping for that one. I like that. We got a little bit of time. We gave him a chance, but Luch, not a man of the people, clearly does not care about the fans and doesn't hit us with the Corki skin. I do like the skin, though.
I'm hoping he is just sitting there focused and not, you know, like running to the kitchen to get a quick drink right now. Because he
he's
not
just
moved. He is right-clicked that mid lane and sort of sat there at the moment.
He's inserted dominance, and the Zoe's just not stepping up. He's just like, no, you can have it, you can have it. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's nice and hydrated.
Yep. Ready to go. As a lot of pings actually going down into UQU's topside jungle. I believe they were spotted a bit by Seb. So to have a bit of vision right now, the ward has been placed.
So Seb actually went up and he placed his vision ward, and the sweeper comes out from Candyman, so he removes it, and the play then falls onto Luch to retain that vision once again. So both of these teams trading that Raptor vision. I will say that Union's vision is fairly deep, as opposed to the other side of the coin, so it is going to be mirrored starts here for the junglers.
Mirrored starts at the moment, as well as sort of really much standard starts, I would think so as well, given this matchup.
Not too much going to happen very early, only 2 minutes in, but it may just be Jarvan looking for the level 2 gank. And this is what the ward was for. You see, Luch knows exactly where the Jarvan is, and in Candyman's mind, he's like, look, they warded the Raptors, I walked over with the sweeper, I've denied that vision, and there's no opportunity for them to be able to counter this one, but Luch replacing the ward, knows exactly what's going on. Jarvan passed through mid lane, and no gank attempt to be seen.
No gank attempt to be seen just yet, but however, he is looking at those Raptors right now. Seb was able to get them cleanly, so Candyman not really getting anything that he wants to start this game.
Yeah, I feel like seeing the Rek'Sai, though, is super valuable. Because if he didn't know where the Rek'Sai was right now, then he's at danger of like losing his top camps. You don't know if Seb's like started top side and just tracked into your jungle looking to take that one away. They don't have vision on their own side of the map. So the fact that he passed through mid, showed himself, but was then able to find the other jungler. Yes, he's behind in tempo. Red buff, you hope he's going to pick up the blue. No, it's just going to be an auto attack, but he doesn't fall too far behind and can continue tracking Seb around the map.
That said, Seb is actually doing a little bit of deeper warding himself right now, collecting Candyman's Raptors to go with his own. So that falling behind in tempo has cost Candyman a bit of his own jungle.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Very nice read there from Seb. He knows the Jarvan path bot side, walked literally through mid lane and took a couple of XP there and just goes in, takes the Raptors, has his entire top side camps up. Crab's now spawning significantly later, means it's just going to be the 3-minute mark 15. And he's going to lock that one down. As you can see, Candyman didn't expect this one. Now in his Raptor pit, ping goes out. He's like, where are my chickens? What happened?
Yeah, Seb just one step ahead, and I have to really give credit to his path in this one. Seems like timing-wise, everything's going perfect. Candyman again going for that flag and drag into the mid lane. Luch, though, sniffing it out, got to get away safely this time.
Ah, sniffing it out. I like that.
It's a pupper.
Yeah, that's it.
Good sense of smell.
It's got a real wet nose. Smell the Jarvan a mile away. As, yeah, EQ just Valked away. It kind of sucks as a Corki player to have to blow the Valk. That costs a buttload of mana, as you don't want to burn that one too much, but given he's tracking incredibly fine in this matchup, also has the fleet as opposed to anything else, so hasn't gone for like the old school of the Comet or anything like that, has that extra sustain against the Zoe, so he's just auto-attacking as much as possible, has had priority and pushing in that wave, which has meant he's able to dodge Candyman's attempts at the mid lane fairly well so far, and as you kind of expected, 4 minutes into the game, no kills to either side.
Now, each team playing very safe. I do expect to see Seb possibly try and get something going soon, just because of that tempo advantage that he had. I'd like to see that translate into pressure into one of the lanes at this stage. As you see right now, he is going to be getting that second Scuttlebug, though, in the river.
Yeah, double Scuttle. Certainly feels nice, and the bottom lane is going to be there to defend him doing that one as well. Shaw, with a very nice dash, gets himself a cannon minion. I feel like over the course of the day, we should judge how top laners get their Karens. The one time he was on camera, unfortunately, hit it with a bit of a whiff. Shaw desperately burns the dash to get that one, and he locks it down.
Yes, that's a man of conviction. A bit of action in the bot side right now. The taunt, unfortunately, going to go straight into a black shield, but Candyman is still looking for it. Flag and Drag available does kind of get it.
There it is.
Turn around, Dark Binding connected right back onto Candyman, and Seb is here, and that will be an easy first blood collected for the Bombers again.
Yeah, and UQU with the hard force, but that's exactly what we talked about in Champs League. The black shield comes down, they cannot get onto the AD carry, and Seb there with a counter gank. They know exactly what's going on. Binding lands from Morg, Seb with a flash, and a very easy turnaround for B52.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see where they take this one at the moment. It does appear they're just going to recall, sort of collect on their kill. They do have the vision around that Ocean Drake, so they don't really need to put too much pressure into there.
Yeah.
Just, small victory for now that possibly could snowball into something larger later.
Yeah, you don't need to force it immediately. Like, they've got nothing to do. They push in the wave, they crash it into the turret. They can probably maintain their TP advantage if the bottom lane of Union can't shove this one in very quickly as he goes back. Doesn't get the perfect Ezreal buy in the tier and the Sheen. Does only get the Sheen plus the mana crystals, so a little bit of gold short. Maybe if he got the kill would have been nice, but Seb's just going to yoink that one. But certainly a very nice turnaround, and the bottom side of the map trending very well for them so far.
Yes, we were watching the mid lane as well as Sheen also already picked up by Luch to combat against the book pages there from
the Lost Chapter.
Lost Chapter, thank you.
That's the one we're looking for.
Still, I mean, standard builds across the board.
Yep. Jungler's sort of interacting here. Seb doesn't have the flash, so if a bubble lands, could be in a bit of trouble.
And it does actually connect. Candyman should be able to connect with the drag because the flag has already been placed down. A flash taunt coming from Sand, however, and this should be a kill picked up. Candyman will be able to secure that. Luch was trying to keep Riot away from the fight.
And that is communication at its finest. They know the flash isn't there. They know he flashed on the bottom side, so Sand pops the summoner himself, locks him down, and Seb had already committed. He tunneled forward, couldn't find access to Candyman, and even though he didn't have the flag and drag available, used it on the Raptors. They get the return kill and buy themselves some of that jungle control back for the time being.
It is something they need. Luch trying to clear vision. Might actually be in a bit of trouble right here. The Trouble Bubble does connect. Sand should be able to buy some time, but a huge Battle Star is going to do quite a bit of damage. Forcing out the flash with the Ignite. Riot is able to get the kill, but Seb is going to try and turn this around. Riot trying to get away. That was actually the W's use of the flash right there. So. And normal flash use as well, so 2 flashes burnt by Ryu.
Yeah, just kind of zooming into the bush after that kill there. You're like, very nice pick off. They find access to Luch, get double summoners, but goes to pick his flash up after that play. Finds himself a Rek'Sai and skedaddles out of that one, so very nice 1-2 punch there. They get the jungler, then they get the mid laner, and UQU certainly fighting their way back into this game. It did cost them a couple of plates down here on the bottom side. Sprentstammer, unfortunately, he W'd the Kai'Sa and drew himself turret aggro, so they couldn't get the second one, but this was a significant amount of time that the Galio was out of this lane.
And it also is going to cost them an Ocean Drake as well. As all this was going on, Seb was doing some work, kind of sneaking that Ocean Drake down, so Bombers Academy getting small advantages despite dropping 2 kills for none in the early game. They're still getting those initial objectives.
Yeah, and on the top side as well, they're also tracking fairly well. Like, TPs haven't been burned. Both top laners have just walked back to lane, but the Aatrox is doing incredibly well. The Ocean Dragon is only going to service them even better in this laning phase. It is better the earlier you get that one. As Nightfall looking for a trade, cops a enormous sword to the head as Shore's looking for the extended version.
Yeah, Shore was looking to possibly re-engage. Not going to find it right now, but with the minions pushing, he will have ample opportunities, I believe, to go at it again. As we continuing to watch, it's something to be known. Shore is actually starting to pull away a bit, like CS-wise, in the top lane.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning, right? Like he's building himself just a straight-up 1v1, has a little bit of that gold lead. About 15 CS is the advantage right now. This wave will crash into turret, and Nightfaller, as you expect, will be able to pick up most of this, but this is a matchup they chose to go into, and certainly very nicely played right now. They do have a lot of control around that mid 2v2 that is kind of lending him a lot of favors. You see Seb is like deep in the enemy jungle right now. Nightfaller looks at that as like, I just cannot contest. If he trades on me, like I can get a little trade back, but I can't look to force. So 1v1 is doing very well, has the aid of his allies, but
I mean,
certainly having a good game so far.
Definitely is. I just feel as if, yeah, UQU were able to get a couple of those kills, but really the tempo of this game still definitely is in control of Bombers Academy.
Oh, yeah.
They're dictating the base, a lot of it through that mid and jungle.
This is the slow burn, right? Like, they don't have a lot of tools to just, like, hardcore force a team fight. There's no Infernal Dragon. It's just the Ocean they've already got. So there's no real big objectives to force, and they're just happy to play that slower game, right? Like, Luch wants to farm up, gets towards his Triforce. Same can be said with the Ezreal. He goes back and finishes his tier and TP's back to lane, so you kind of expect this sort of style. This has been fairly clean from the Bombers Academy so far, and just looking to maintain that control and not really further that lead just right now.
At least not yet. I imagine it will start to ramp up later in the game, however. That said, more tower plating actually going down for Bombers Academy. Farmer has been usually who UQ Union plays around. He generally is the focus of that team. This time around, they haven't really been trying. Like, we saw a bit of that happening with the gank, I guess, on the bot side very early, but the re-engage kind of squelched that plan before it started. Just because of like the team's MO, I kind of expect them to go back bot side again, especially with Sand on that Galio, but they haven't had the opportunity to yet.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of other options they have, right? Like, you look at the force that's available, Galio springs to mind. It has to be like a random bubble that lands from the Zoe, and then Luch already has Valkyrie, he has Package right now, and he also has Cleanse, and Vladimir doesn't want to do anything topside. He just wants to survive as much as possible, and that could be the result of this lane swap right now. Like, they send their AD carry and their support top, but Sand's actually tracking down here to try and defend. Nightfaller can buy time.
He's going to try and buy as much as possible. The heroic entrance from Sand is coming in, but the taunt actually doesn't connect really with anyone. The True Shot Barrage did a bit of damage, but not enough. Nightfaller is still quite healthy, and they should be able to defend this tower.
Yeah, they actually defend quite well there, but
Luch, that damage was insane, and down goes Nightfaller. Fortunately, Rift Herald being picked up on the other side of the map, not much Shore can do about it, but kill for Herald.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they defend that so well. 4 versus 2, the Vladimir, the Galio ulti, they deny the engage, and they've spent so many resources. Bombers have 4 people down here, but Sheen proc, big one into the auto attack, and Luch secures him a kill. They do lose the Rift Herald, as you mentioned. It was UQU's play, and they're going to trade plating for plating on the bot side. But this turret is very, very close to going down. Can Union actually commit to this one? No.
They don't feel they can. Shore was roaming down, so they did not want to risk that 3v3 fight, so they are unable to get the mid tower. That said, no towers fell at the same time because topside tower is still sitting healthy, well, semi-healthy, only 1 plating left. The Academy, though, they might be able to take it right now. Zenk, one more auto will do it, and there it is, your first tower going for the Bombers Academy.
Yeah, so cleans that one off the back end, and I will say the mark of an easy bottom lane is that you have 17 biscuits in your inventory, so Zenk just chilling with a 3 right now, is feeling pretty good about this one. First game on 80 carry for the split in 2019, and looking pretty good right now. Working well with Sprentstarmer, that counter gank early. They rotate down with a 4-man dive, and this has looked like some pretty cohesive play from Bombers Academy right now. They're transitioning their leads all over the place. Topside's been on pretty much an island, but Shore is doing work up there.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't needed to really put that pressure topside, just Shore being able to control it on his own. Zenk, back on that AD carry, he's looking definitely more than comfortable. It's almost as if he never left that position, hey?
Yeah, well, I mean, he definitely did look comfortable on the Camille. So, Ezreal, definitely in his wheelhouse, and goes back to your main role. I'm a guy that, I don't play off role, I just dodge. Yeah. If I have to play top or jungle, it's a no bueno. I can play Lucian mid, but if it's not in the bottom lane, I don't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Sleeping Trouble will actually connect you right there on the step. Good little block
nice
there
guy.
from Sprentstarmer?
Sprentstarmer. Pops it in the face. Classic support life there. Just takes it up for the jungler. Given Rek'Sai can probably heal, maybe not necessarily. The bow plating gets procced. Very nice spell shield there.
That was really good. Dodges the paddle star as well. Sprentstarmer doing nice little bits of happy feet right now, taking what he's supposed to, dodging what he's supposed to. It's helping his team get some more pressure in that mid river.
Yeah. Morgana's not really one of those champions. Like, you look at support pool and you're like, okay, Galio has a dash, so does like Gragas, Bard can tunnel through walls and stuff like that, but Morg's Black Shield kind of lets her play that little extra bit of like distance further. She can go and like kind of int for a ward, but then has Black Shield to stop the CC, so you can't really counter gank that one. Unless you're willing to burn the Cataclysm and like lock her down, then you can kind of get away with a little bit more than other support champs can. So Sprenstarmr kind of playing on the edge here very well. And round number 2, that's 2 pink wards he's cleared out with the Black Shield. His team gets the Mountain Dragon, and Bombers just look to be snowballing this game out very well.
Yeah, just getting objective after objective at the moment. Like, being able to clear the vision just because of the mechanical plays leads to the Dragon. Meanwhile, a bit of a engage coming from Nightfaller, but he could be getting that back if he needs. Shore is on the retreat. The Heroic Entrance is coming too, forces out the flash from Shore, and the chase will stop, at least for now.
I say 1v2, but the Galio comes flying in over the top. The flash is burnt there from Shore, but if there wasn't a Galio, that was a kill. He takes down Nightfaller, at least burns the flash, but Sprenstarmr looking for more. Binding.
Binding does not connect. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble did connect with Zenk, but Sprenstarmr was able once again to tank that Paddle Star. That said, Zenk has to be careful. He's quite low. Both jungle and support has come up from both Bombers and UQU respectively, and because of the pressure, it doesn't look like neither side is going to engage.
Yeah, Riot landing some critical damage there. If he didn't get that onto the Morgana, onto the Ezreal, then that turret may be just dead to rights. He's low enough that the dive from Seb is enough to take down that turret, but lands some damage, kind of forces Zenk to not be able to free hit the turret, and with the Galio he was able to defend that one, so feels nice. Binding, ever so close.
Binding just missing as Riot trying to go for the Sleepy Trouble, does not connect either. A lot of missed skill shots. I feel they're really trying to find any sort of semblance to get that initiated on. These teams are getting antsier and antsier, waiting to fight.
Yeah, you can't really blame them, right? Like, these are skill shots. Like, you could just throw out the bubble, and I just say fishing. Like, you just go fishing. Like, if it lands, good. If it doesn't, then you don't burn anything. Morgana, mana pool, just out his ass, to be honest. He's got a Forbidden Idol. He's got so much mana, he can just fling Binding after Binding, and the same there for the Zoe, right? He goes back, finishes his Ludens, is now got that first item completed, but opportunity, not really finding it for either of these teams, so it does sort of stabilize as we trend towards the 16-minute mark.
Things are stabilizing, but except for the gold lead, that's not stabilizing. That's been slowly just getting increasing for a Bombers Academy's favor, as they have already moved to about a nearly 4K gold lead at this stage, and it's just been from that map pressure. I think a lot of it actually coming out of Shore right now is Dark Binding, again missing Riot, but with 3 members strong, Academy is looking to siege this tower.
Yeah, it's a lot in the plating. Like, you look at the gold lead between all of these individuals, right? There's a 30 CS lead top. There's a 20 CS lead mid. There's a little bit of 10 CS lead in the bottom lane, but that doesn't account for the huge gold swing between the two teams, but...
Action actually happening right now. Flying Drag connects with 2. Luch's Cataclysm on, but is able to escape, and it's actually Candyman who's in a bit of trouble. The teleport coming through from Nightfaller a bit too late, and no one will actually go down. Good escape from the Bombers.
Yeah, but the Candyman with the Cataclysm actually denies his Galio access to the play. The E got cancelled, the dash back, dash forward into a wall, and then no flash available there from Sand to be able to continue that play. So they looked for it. Bombers just kind of get the hell out of that one. Double flash is burnt, but nothing comes from it after that play. 2,000 gold lead between the two as Nightfaller is just fighting for his mid laner CS.
Yeah, I mean, I think because, Flash has gone down with Luch, maybe they're going to try and get some pressure on this mid tower. See what to do. An aggressive play from Riot. The Trouble Bubble does not connect, but Sand has roamed down as well. Nightfaller taking a couple tower shots, does not want to continue this fight.
And Zenk with the Cojones actually eased forward there. Bubble kind of looking for the juke, looking for the dash back, but goes forward, clears the wave, denies that dive, and Union, they're looking for something on the bottom side. They don't have enough of a wave to take down this turret, and Bombers are just answering on the other side of the map.
Yeah, this is... Union's trying to find what they can wherever they can at the moment, but unfortunately it's not really connecting just yet. Right now, though, I mean, it doesn't appear as if the Bombers are really going to be able to continue that push topside as well, as Nightfaller was able to rotate up.
Yeah, so mid lane looking to be a point of contention, but 2 kills apiece. Approaching that 20-minute mark, probably going to be the big one this game. Who sets that one up? Bombers certainly have the lead. They don't have the best, like, Baron take. They don't have a pure tank. It is a Rek'Sai who's gone Warrior, right? Like, he's actually going towards the Hex Drinker, given there's so much magic damage on the other side of the map, so they don't really want to start that one up. They probably just want to set up, deny that vision, like bait Union into checking. You land a binding, then you can start a team fight, stuff like that, but Interesting to see how they do decide to play this one. Have options with Shaw in the side lane as well. Doesn't have TP for about probably 2-3 minutes, but certainly has a lot of pressure in the side.
It's actually interesting. Again, I'm just always going back to Vision. Really, the only deep wards right now are placed by Bombers Academy up on the top side of UQU's jungle. Whereas I feel a lot of the action right now is going to be happening on the bot side of the map, however, with another dragon about to spawn. And both teams are sort of positioning for it right now.
Oh, very nice check there from Farmer. Yep. Spidey tense. What was that? Senses are tingling.
Yep.
As knows the Aatrox is in the bush, so W to the face and does dissuade them somewhat. Luch is just going to take his place, just steps right up.
Yep.
And yeah, Air Dragon, not the biggest prize to fight over, but both these teams are opting in.
Yeah, I think they just want to fight, it seems like, because they've been looking for it for a while within that mid lane. Right now, you can see UQ Union is all grouped up. They're going to try and clear that vision. Dark Binding falling up a bit short at the moment, but it does seem to be pushing the back. Aggressive play by Riyadh, actually. Sleeping Troll does connect, and this may warrant a fight. Luch trying to push them back with some missiles, as well as Zenk doing damage from the flank, and in the end, Union will back up.
Yeah, Aatrox was actually on the flank there, so that ward on the right-hand side of your screen, just in the blue pit, super impactful. The Aatrox has the flash to go over the wall, and if they didn't see him coming, then that could have been a complete wipe in favor of the Bombers. So Union reading the play very nicely there, as Air Dragon is just going to be retreated back 2 here for Bombers. They don't need all their members to take this one down. So you can see Ezreal, Corki just kind of holding the fort in mid lane, and jungle and support are just going to be relegated to taking that one down.
I think one of the things going in the Bombers' favor into that was the fact that both the side lanes were actually pushing in their favor, so it gives them a larger time period to actually secure that mid area and around the dragon.
They have the clock on their side, They set up the waves. They kind of just don't need to do anything. If everything fizzles, then works out for them. They can just kind of sit back and be like, yeah, okay, you start it. You're losing farm in the top lane. You're losing farm in the bottom lane. So nice pick up there, and they do kind of win by default in that situation.
It's their own setup default, though. It's not.
But they get themselves into a situation where they win by default. Yes. Union have to force something to be able to come up as the victor in that trade, and aren't able to find it. So, as you expect, Bombers walk away with the gold. They walk away with the dragon, and just extending their lead.
And a mid tower as well. So Bombers just in complete control of the map at this stage. UQ Union, they're trying to find those fights that they want, but Vision just sort of not quite in their favor, or at least in that case it was in their favor, I suppose, because it did stop them from a bad engage, but they still need to find something.
Yeah, the Vision game is very hard. If you're losing the game, you have the same amount of wards to place down, but you just can't walk into the river. If your waves are getting shoved in, how do you get Vision around the Baron pit? This is the one opportunity. When the other team takes something and you know they reset, you walk and you see Sand just walks out of base, places a couple of wards, and now they're probably just going to get cleaned out on the other side. So it is really like this ebb and flow. He has to go back and fill his pockets once again, get the stacks back on the Equinox, and try and control something around that Baron. The winning team has it much easier, as you expect. That's why snowballing exists, right? But they're just trying to hold on for as long as possible now in the Union camp and maintaining some vision around that Baron.
Try to get to maybe 2 or 3 items on Farmer before they look for that fight. But
they really need the Gwynsters.
Yeah, they need that. I do agree. They need that Gwynsters right now, because I feel like the running time. Rio's actually in big trouble. Package going through, and that burst from Luch is insane. So down goes Rio. A good kill picked up for the Bombers Academy, and they might be able to siege mid tower off.
Yeah, 2 items completed plus the Sork shoes, and that was a Triforce, the rapid proc, and Corki just eats him alive as Zoe falls down, and Binding now lands at the Farmer.
Yeah, Binding connecting on the Farmer, and he's already out of this fight as well. Luch moving in forward. Cataclysm going down on Seb, who will use the ultimate in order to stay alive. Nightfaller, though, looking to try and bring him down. Will not be able to, as the heroic entrance is coming to try and turn things around against Petsama, using that hourglass to stay alive. Seb will just not die. Nightfaller is able to finally go down. Shore picking up the double kill on the backside. It's actually an ace for the Bombers Academy.
Yeah, 22-minute ace for Bombers. Such a nice binding from the Morgana off to the side. Luch gets back-to-back kills to start that play off, and that was underneath the turret. That was an extra man there for Union, and they just all fall down. The Baron doesn't go astray. The Bombers don't pick that one up, but the gold lead now went from 5 to 8,000. They take another turret. They get the reset, and more items, more goals, and an easier time to get to the Baron. That was
close.
A W flash, so ultimately didn't matter, but
it was close, though. If that trouble bubble had hit, they could have been maybe something for Union to pick up on the backside of that, but unfortunately, they're not going to get it. And just falling even further behind right now. Farmer still unable actually to finish that second item.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well. Ezreal now completed the 3 items. Luden is kind of popping up as the answer to being denied the double tier build of late, given the patch notes. So, Bombers, huge gold lead, just looking to sit up around the Baron once again. And I kind of expected that sort of play, right? Like, it's not the walk at Baron, start it, force them to come to you. It's deny all the vision and then find that pick. It was a binding that like landed onto Riot, and then the package comes through. It's the binding once again. Sprenstarmer having a very good Morg game to get another pick, and they do win the team fight as Luch just whacks his support over the wall.
But this is kind of what we were going to be expecting out of the Bombers coming into this one, especially compared to their past 2 games. They're playing a lot more as a team this time around,
100%.
I feel. And it's just, this is the lineup we were expecting. This is the lineup that's come up to play, and unfortunately, UQ Union just have felt a step behind this entire game.
Yeah, haven't really been able to find things. Like, they set up with a game plan. They said Jarvan, we want to early gank that Corki. Looked for it twice, but they didn't find it. It was a very nice read. It was the very nice vision early played around by the XOPL couple of 7, Luch.
Yep.
And couldn't find that advantage that they kind of wanted to go in for. Look for the bottom side, gets completely countered by the Morgana, and from that point, it really was like a lot banking on this early game Jarvan. Didn't quite find it, and they haven't found the team fight since.
No, they have not, as we're seeing a little bit of a death push right there being set up, trying to catch someone, maybe getting a little too deep of vision around that Baron pit, but UQ Union a bit too smart for that one this time around. That said, though, they have no vision around that pit, and I feel like Bombers Academy are just sort of waiting for that right opportunity to secure that Baron and then look to end this game.
Yeah, playing it very patiently, as you kind of expect. And, yeah, pretty stable so far, right? Like, they're just sitting back, not looking in to opt in for any stupid fights. It's another BF sword picked up by the Corki, so they're just getting monumentally ahead without actually, like, it almost feels very bad for Union right now. Like, they're certainly not down for the count. If a Jarvan, Vladimir, Galio combo lands, they win the fight, but it's just, like, the access to that fight. Like, can they find all 5 members of Bombers grouped up, and can they actually engage on that? But they're just not even giving it to them. Bombers don't care. They're just farming waves. Luch is hitting waves top and then just walking around, and they haven't even looked at the Baron just yet. They're looking to farm away. Camps just kind of styling on their opponent, maybe foot over the throat here, and not looking to press down anytime soon.
Yes, exactly that. And with, the Mountain Drakes picked up as well, it kind of narrows that gap for Union to actually find that fight should Bombers force a Baron play right now. That Baron is going to go down so quickly at this stage of the game.
There's a fight over the Raptor camp. Smite does come through there for Seb, so he's going to pick that one up. CS lead now in the jungle, as you kind of expect. The team that falls behind, it is the support and the junglers that, unless other people are inting, just lose all access to gold. Like, you can't get relic stacks if you're the Galio, you can't get jungle camps if you're the Jarvan, and does certainly feel bad. Maybe Bomber's looking to start up the Baron sometime soon. The sweeper does come out. Morgana's already used his in the hands of Sprenstarmer, so this could be it. Aatrox is also walking around for the flank. They may not have vision of where Shaw is right now, and this could be the engage.
I believe if that binding had hit, they probably would have committed hard for it. Unfortunately, falls a bit short right now. As you take a look at the main map, Luch was getting that top lane to press in as well.
Oh, this is it.
And yeah, now they've actually opted for that Baron. Now they're not going to try and death push it for the 3rd time. And just with no vision on it, I don't think Union can really realistically contest this one.
They have some idea. Candyman is walking over. The blue trinket's going to be their steal.
No, it's not in the cards this time around. Too risky, too far back. Union can't do anything to stop the Bombers from picking up the first Baron of this game.
Yeah, and the bait and switch, if you spend 10 minutes not even looking at the Baron and then just turn around, you one-hit that guy with the Mountain Dragon, feels incredibly good. So, without a fight, Bombers able to pick that one up and further extend their gold. It is now the Bork being worked on by the Ezreal. The IE has been completed by the Corki. These are very large carries here in the hands of the Bombers, and they might just look for a game-ending push right now. 11,500 gold lead. This is a big lead to overcome for UQ.
Farmer has completed his Ginsos, though. Unfortunately, it may be a little bit too late in this one. You have to think desperation might be getting into the minds of UQ Union at this stage, just because they haven't had that opportunity yet to pull the trigger, and they've just been slowly bleeding out. Interesting bit of redemption there.
Don't know if, like, the Zoe W redemption shows as a blue ring.
I don't think it was redemption from Morgana. Meanwhile, we have a fight happening right now. Spence Zama is the one who's cut out. The heroic entry is coming through, but no, they're unable to get it. Zeke is able to take down Candyman as Short teleports in on the back line. Meanwhile, Nightfaller is also going after Zeke right now, dropping that Hemo Plague. I don't think Zeke is actually going to survive this one. UQ Union maybe trying to turn around, but unfortunately, the front line from the Bombers is just too strong. Luch is doing so much work. It is a double kill. Actually, a double kill for that Corki and an ace for the Bombers Academy.
And that was Union's one team fight. They had to pull the trigger at some point against the Baron. They can't just get locked out of their base. They can't just try and win the war of attrition. You get chokeholded inside your Nexus, but they look for the fight. It potentially looked good. Farmer onto the backline to clean up 2 carries, but a single auto attack turns that one around, and this just could be the end for Bombers.
Yeah, this does look quite bad. That said, Death Timers are coming up, and it will be the Bombers actually retreating. I expect they might try to recall and sort of regroup for one last push at this stage. That team fight, though, I was so close because Nightfaller also got to that backline as well, and they were able to take down both Zank and Sprint Sama. Meanwhile, actually a bit of a re-engage happening right now. Lucius is doing so much damage. Candyman forced to retreat, and this tower might not be long for the world right now. Union might look for that desperation play, but Nightfaller, if he steps forward, he already loses half of his health. He can't do anything to get in. The Sand was looking for that taunt, not going to find it. Has to Justice Punch away as the inhibitor will fall. Bombers Academy, this siege is just too strong at the moment, and Union cannot find a way into it.
They haven't even reset. The Israel TP's back after his death, but they just stick around on the map. The top inhib goes down. They don't look for the Nexus, but get the middle one for their troubles as well, and they just might be staying. They would have so much gold in the back pocket after a complete ace of a team fight, but they're just straight up looking for the end.
They already had so much gold in their pocket to begin with, though, so I don't think that Union can really realistically fight it. Binding did connect onto Sam, but no engage just yet, as Shore is doing work on this tower with help from Zink. It should go down about now, and that is the last inhibitor tower down. Meanwhile, on the other side, they're trying to engage on Luch, but he's able to flash away to safety. Seb on the re-engage has Nightfaller in a very tricky situation. Down he goes. Luch picks up one as Candyman dropped the Cataclysm as well as the stopwatch, but it's not going to save his life. 2 kills down, and this should be the end game. The third inhibitor will fall right now, and Union down 5 minutes to 3. They're going to try to look for this desperation play. I just don't see it happening. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does connect onto Zank, but he is so far back. The engage isn't there. A good bit of body block coming out of the Morgana as the next inhibitor is exposed. The inhibitor is going down. A stopwatch used by Shore, so he's going to be golden as this game ends. Luch gets one last kill to top it off, and there is your game at Bombers Academy with the win.
And Bombers with a completely turnaround performance, right? This is a 0-2 start to the season. Full roster comes in. Zank back to 80 carry, and from start to finish, that was just super good. Luch on the Corki, super comfortable. Zank on the Ezreal, super comfortable once again, and yeah, they just turned the lights out on their opponents.
You could say they look like a completely new team.
Yeah, that's fancy that. 80% different, and yeah, that's what it looked like. But that was a fairly clean closeout. I like that it wasn't just like super ballsy, like we get a lead and we just want to stomp immediately. The end was kind of that, where they just stuck around on the map. They did like they win a team fight and they won 2 team fights on a single deploy. You don't see that happen a lot, if ever, in competitive League of Legends. But you know what I mean? They played it safe. They got themselves the Baron. They snuck that one and closed out the game.
It felt like they played it safe until they knew they had it won, and then they just ended the game. And that's it just show respect to your opponents when you play it like that. When you're not going super aggressive just because you have that small advantage. It also makes me excited to see where this Bombers Academy team can go because I think, like, the way how they played right there, I'm thinking they might be one of the top of the ladder teams at this stage, despite the 1 and 2 start.
Yeah, certainly the case, and I also like that it came from different members as well. I think the Sprint Dharma on the Morgana, very good performance. Like, you look at that lineup, and it's like, you see Luch, you see Seb, you've seen them in the OPL before, like the bigger names on the team, but he had a monster game, honestly. Turned around the early gank from the Jarvan. He was responsible for those 2 kills in the mid lane that kind of turned the game around. So, yeah, good performances across the board, but not quite like the only places you would expect. So, Bombers, they do pick up a victory. They trend on to 1 and 2 in the standings. Don't go anywhere. After this break, we'll be back for game number 3.